Unit 3, Lesson 2, Analyzing Bias in the Media. The original story. Learning goals. I will learn to identify bias in a media work. Success criteria. I can select appropriate reading comprehension strategies, interpret media texts, identify bias in a media text, describe the topic, purpose, and audience in the media text. Lesson. Before reading. In a discussion post, respond to the following scenario. School is out and you're heading home for the day. As you leave campus, you spot a woman lying on the sidewalk motionless. She seems like someone from your school, but you don't know her personally. People and cars keep passing by, and some of them have clearly noticed the woman. A couple of people are pointing at her, but nobody stops to help. What do you think you would do in this situation? What do you think most people would do? Respond to one of your peers' posts, identify what you found interesting about their post, and ask one question. So, in this discussion post, you would click on it and you would answer these two questions in relation to this scenario. During reading. Read the following article written in 1964 by the New York Times. While you are reading, highlight 5 different types of bias evident in the news article. Here is the original news article written in 1964 about a murder case that we are going to be investigating in this unit. While you're reading, as I stated, highlight 5 different types of bias. After reading, when you're finished reading, complete the bias organizer. Be sure to include quotes from the article that are examples of bias, as well as explain why each example is bias. Here is the link to the bias media organizer. As you can see, there are 2 sections. On this side, you are identifying one of the 5 different types of bias. You need 5 different types of bias. So don't use bias by statistics or bias by omission twice. You use 5 different types. On this side, you provide me with an example of or from the news article right here that shows that type of bias. And then you need to interpret it, which is explain why it is a good example of that type of bias. You need to have both sides filled out. It's not enough just to provide me with the type of bias and an example. You need to tell me why that example indicates or is a good example of a type of bias. Once you are finished completing the bias organizer, then you will submit for assessment using the following link. Good luck!